Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had so many questions. How do we record an episode? Where do we find background music? How do we get our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places that people like to listen? And where do we find advertisers? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. Anchor makes it simple to get up and running. You can upload and schedule your podcasts ahead of time. It publishes to all the major podcast platforms. You can easily check your stats. I could go on, but instead, why don't you go and get started? Go to anchor.fm/start to join the e-commerce minute and a diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
It's the E-commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart Mraz and John Suter. The E-commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's E-commerce Minute, episode 261.
In today's episode, get cheap Broadway tickets with Broadway Roulette.
Broadway shows are a staple of New York City life for both tourists and locals alike. But the process of getting tickets to a show can be intimidating, expensive, frustrating, or all three. Little has changed over the years with the theater ticket buying experience. About 70% of Broadway tickets are sold to tourists. The extra 30% goes to locals. Of that 30% of locals, 95% of tickets are sold to people who see 12 or more shows per year. But many New Yorkers simply do not see shows, not due to desire, but due to time restraints on busy New Yorkers' lives. Tickets are expensive, research takes time. Also, reaching a group consensus of both show and price point is stressful. New Yorker Elizabeth during Streisand wondered, what if you remove these obstacles? Elizabeth went theater to theater and convinced ticket sellers that she could get these unsold tickets to people who wanted to incorporate Broadway into their lives but didn't have time for decisions. And so Broadway Roulette was born. Here's how it works. Users go to the site BroadwayRoulette.com and specify a date and number of tickets. Pick a preference of a musical or a play, then exclude from the list up to 4 shows you've seen or simply don't want to see. The rest is up to chance. Every show currently on Broadway is thrown into the roulette pool, even perpetually hard to snag tickets. On the day of the show, Broadway Roulette spins the wheel and sends you an email notification 2 to 3 hours prior to curtain, telling you what show you'll be attending and what theater you need to get to, all for the affordable, flat price of $49 weekdays and $59 weekends. And if you use Broadway Roulette more than once, don't worry, you'll never end up with the same show twice. Spin that wheel.
Spin it. Spin it.
So the reason I chose this story is that, Bart, you've used this service. Why don't you tell us what your experience was?
It was amazing. So I would like to go to more shows. I just never know what to go to. Like, yeah, Hamilton is very, very expensive. Obviously, it's still expensive. Even the traveling show is expensive. These guys actually have Hamilton on their list. The beauty of it, you can select.
The devil, you say? You can see Hamilton on this list?
Yeah.
How is that possible? Is it like
I have no idea. Well, I think
Tuesday what morning show?
It doesn't matter. I think what they're doing is doing like the last minute, like actual tickets. You can actually go for Hamilton and stand there all day and get like a lottery thing. So they might be doing that. Anyway.
Oh, so it's literally 2 hours before the show. Perchance there may be a Hamilton in the pool and you might get that, but that's the price, the bet you make.
Yeah. So basically you set, so they have all of them, all the Broadway shows and like all the musicals. Basically you can deselect 4 that you don't want to go see.
Right.
Or you have been to or stuff like that. And then it's great. And like that surprise that morning is awesome. I think it's also great for travelers who really don't know what they want to see, but they know what they want to see at a Broadway show.
So part of the origin story that I didn't include in here was that the founders, Elizabeth and her husband, whose name I don't have in front of me, they had, in the article it said a unique thing for New Yorkers. They had a spare bedroom, and they would get a lot of friends that would stay over, and they realized that a lot of them would want to go see Broadway shows, but they had that conundrum of, it's too expensive. I can't do it. They'd wind up just doing something else. And she was really into the Broadway thing, and she went around and was like, why am I going to all these shows? My friends can't get tickets yet. There's an empty seat next to me.
Right.
So I think what's happening is that she just found a way to scrape up, okay, it's 3 hours before the show. These seats are going to be empty unless we do something with them. And the theaters went, aha.
Yeah. No, it's one of the, it's great. It's a good thing. And also for something like I said, like somebody for me that I do want to go see more shows, and, it's great to be like, oh, I'm surprised to see this type of thing. So I went to see Carole King I would never choose to go to, but it was amazing. Like, it was
I'm right with you.
I had great seats. Like, we had a good time. It's a cool, like, I don't know. I like it a lot. One of my friends actually just did it too, and he's like, "This is great. This is amazing to do."
You can't beat the price point. I like the mystery of it because it adds a little excitement to it. Because even if you go to a clunker, you only spent $49 or $59. You go out in New York, it takes you $49 just to get uptown. So
yeah, I mean, listen, it's Broadway shows. They want to be on Broadway.
Right.
If they're not good. I mean, that's just simple. They'll be off Broadway if they're terrible. So
I think they are developing an off Broadway product.
I think so.
That's what I think I read. They're going to launch an off Broadway product.
It's great. I liked it. It's definitely one of those, like, for $50 during a weekday, you can't beat it for a date night.
And it's great for the shows. It's great for people who want to get a little culture in your life. So go check it out. BroadwayRoulette.com. We are not sponsored by them. We just thought it was an interesting story. Interesting way to buy Broadway tickets. Got anything else, Bart?
No. Go see more shows.
Go see more shows. Get a little culture in your life. And if you want a little more culture about e-commerce, go to our website, ecommerceminute.co, where you'll find full show notes of every episode. And you can also listen to past episodes and see pictures of Bart and myself. They're really great pictures. We're really two guys who have faces made for radio. Right, Bart?
Yes. Always.
All right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media @SumoHeavy.